The difference between usership and doership, when one is in doership, they're trying to get to the quote unquote the person that they want to be. And so they're trying to get there by doing these different things. When I achieve this, when I get that, when I get here, when I have that whatever experience, then finally I can be the person that I want to be. Then I can be the preferred self that I want to be. So it's in constructing phase. The ego doer is, you can say, eternally, eternally in constructing phase, right? So it's forever dissatisfied. It's forever gonna be disconnected. It's forever gonna be separated from wholeness, from constructedness. Now, the opposite of that, what I call usership, it is that orientation wherein the construct is already constructed, wherein the process, you can say, is quote unquote is done, and you're now in using of the already made, already built, already defined, constructed construct. You're not trying to get there, you're in using of it, right? You're in exploring of it. You're in quote unquote taking advantage of it, you know? So you can say that usership is, well, using using the already existing vehicle or construct and allowing that to express itself, being in that sort of backseat listening receptive orientation. How will this character do this particular thing? How will this particular construct respond to this situation? What will be the thoughts that this particular construct receive or experience? Right? We are not identified with the thoughts because we are in recognition that we are, you can say, in using the thoughts belong to it. That's the sense. In other teachings, it's called the witnessing, right? Being the witnessing or being the witness. And this is the case because you're no longer busy, you know. You already, quote unquote, got what you want. You're already, quote unquote, hopped on to the person or self of preference, right? So there's, quote unquote, nothing else to do because that's the only thing that the ego wants anyway. You can say that the goal of the ego doer is already done. As mentioned previously, the goal of the ego doer is to get to the preferred self, the preferred person. And usership is using that already constructed, already here preferential self and now exploring that and having that as the vehicle, choosing its mileage, right? Because again, it's the preference. Another analogy would be, so the ego doer orientation, its agenda is to build a boat from not yet constructedness going to constructedness, from not wholeness going to wholeness, from not easiness going to easiness, right? It's in the process. It's always trying to get there, from notness trying to get to easiness. Now, the orientation of usership is already riding the boat. The boat is already done. It's already constructed. And it's now exploring the seas with the boat. It's now exploring life using the boat. That's already constructed, already defined, already done, you can say. And so this is why in some spiritual teachings, it is said that there's nothing to do, right? There's nothing to achieve. There's nothing to accomplish or arrive at. Those pointers are pointing to the ego doer orientation, meaning they're pointing you to the already constructed boat. There's nothing to do, there's nothing to achieve because the boat is already here and all you have to do is to use it. It's not that literally you won't do anything in the world anymore, right? But of course, doing still happens. But of course, activities happen. Of course, challenges happen. But of course, there is working and engagement and, facing of challenges and all that. The difference is that you are in recognition of this quote unquote indestructible, inviolable, or irreducible construct. It's kind of like no matter how many challenges or seemingly unfavorable treatment or circumstance that happened to it, it's not defined by that. The construct remains the construct. It's not the other way around. The construct is not dependent on circumstance. It's not made whole or made to be damaged by circumstance. There is the recognition of this. Now, with ego doer orientation, it's the opposite, right? Circumstance defines the construct. I'm trying to get there, or I take this particular challenge or untoward or unfavorable treatment as an attack, as a diminishment towards this construct. And so I'm trying to get it back. I'm going to try to piece it back together. I'm going to try to get back at you in order for me to get back to wholeness, in order for me to heal, right? Heal the wounded ego. It's reversed. The external defines the construct. So it's always in trying to get there, trying to defend oneself, trying to do stuff in order to maintain the construct. It's a slave, it's like it's at the mercy. It's at the mercy of external forces, external circumstance. And so again, with regard to usership, it's the opposite of that. Meaning there's the recognition of this construct that's not defined by outside circumstances. It's self-defining, it's already created. It's an idea, you can say, or concept or construct, and it's defined by itself. It doesn't need defending. You can say that it's a quote unquote indestructible vehicle, right? It's an unscatable definition. For example, when you have a blue tinted glasses, no matter what circumstance or challenges that comes up, you'll still come from a place of blueness. The blueness wasn't affected. It's not defined by outside circumstance. It's not damaged or diminished or negated or canceled out by circumstance. No matter what happens, there is that frequency, there is that particular broadcast or construct that's always available, that's indestructible, that remains blue. No outside circumstance or experience takes away from the blueness, right? It's still blue, it's still whole, it's still that. And it remains available to use, right, that blue lens in everyday life or in any circumstance or challenges.